Hello, Bluey fans. Did you know that I, Marty, form only one part of the people who create the Hammerbarn Project? And that we form only one part of all the podcasts in the country of Australia? And that Australia forms only one part of all the countries in the world? Well, it's true. So when a crossover episode was graciously suggested by the unstoppably awesome Greg and Mike from Two Bandits Watching Bluey, the leading Bluey fanatical podcast of the USA, an entirely different country, we immediately knew that it would be far too much trans-Pacific Bluey appreciation for one lone podcast feed to hold. So, hear it in all its glory, half American dads, half Aussie dads, and a bonus uncle, culturally exchanging their mutual love for this one kid's show to rule them all. You will, of course, also find this episode by subscribing to Two Bandits Watching Bluey, wherever you get your podcasts. Greg and Mike, you are bandit-level legends. We can't thank you enough for reaching out, and it's an absolute delight seeing our cartoon go down so smoothly internationally. So, without further ado, on with the episode.
Over 10,000 miles away, 16,000 kilometers, and we got that down pat. 16 hours time difference. And we made it happen.
In case you didn't know, my friend Gregory
Not that I looked up those stats or anything, but Frank, Marty, Brendan, thank you for joining us, guys. This is exciting.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Thank you.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Don't you start with that thank you business. That's ridiculous.
You guys have the source material here. We were thinking the other day, I'm like, man, we're so sad we can't watch season 3. What's the simplest way to do it? And we figured reach out to some Aussie lads who love Bluey to give us the inside scoop. You know, I've never heard of Vimeo or YouTube or anything like that, but you know, just call an Aussie and say what's up. So thank you for answering the call.
Oh, mate, anytime. We are happy to. As has been quoted on our show, any friend of Bluey's is a friend of ours. I think we even dropped that on our little audio grab for you guys earlier. Yes, it is wonderful to be here. My name is Frank. For those who are only the fans of Two Bandits, you should also be a fan of our show, just quietly. That's why part of why we're doing this crossover. It's a mutual back scratching that happens. It's a dog thing, right?
The subject matter, I'll give it away, very, very similar.
Of what? Compared to what?
Of our two podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a happy coincidence, isn't it?
Somewhat similar. You know, while you're talking about capsicums, we're talking about peppers. Horses don't poop in America, so that's a little bit different, but otherwise it's pretty similar.
Oh, I gotta say, I know I should
day.
really let Frank take this, but hearing you gentlemen discuss the grand game of cricket is look. It's excellent. It's very entertaining.
I have a note right here. Dumb American question. So let's hop in right there. Explain cricket as if you were talking to a child.
It's like baseball, but better. That's the one line version.
Oh no, I get it.
Think of all the things that annoy you about baseball and just get rid of them.
One thing I will say, though, is hearing you try to get to the bottom of the leg before wicket rule was particularly excellent. But when you said it's not dissimilar to a batter in baseball leaning into the pitch.
Yep. Pretty much.
Hey, I was there. I was at work. I was in my car delivering the mail, as I do, and I just nodded and just went, yeah. Hey, why not? That's it.
Hey!
I got booted for a second there. We're back. We're back.
I thought for a minute like Greg was a really good ventriloquist there because his mouth didn't move, but I could hear stuff going on, and I'm like, is this a bit? Is this
one of my yes, the cricket LBW is one of my first questions I had while listening to your podcast. What does that stand for? Can I ask?
Leg before wicket.
Leg before
yeah.
wicket. Yeah, that's correct.
I said, listen to our podcast for once, maybe, Mike. I just told you that. I had no idea what it meant, but I told you.
Yeah, but I want to hear the source. I need to know.
And I feel like
It is a very contentious rule.
I tried to make my formal apology tour for being an idiot in 2 episodes and saying New Zealand instead of Australia.
Oh, you know what?
I make my formal apology to the 3 of you. I hope that is
I'll tell you why it was worth it. Because in every subsequent episode, watching you very pleasantly dig your way up out of that, it was glorious.
Did it,
like if the cost that we have to pay for you just absolutely glorifying Australia in every episode is 2 episodes of maybe, misquoting, then that's a cost I'll pay any day of the week, my friend.
To clarify, the way the relationship between Australia and New Zealand is very similar to how Americans and Canadians sort of feel about each other, and so it's one of those things we poke fun at New Zealand all the time and just go, oh, it's New Zealand. Right. When in truth, they have a better healthcare system. They have a better leader. They have better everything than us.
Yeah, better
but
everything.
they're still the poor little redheaded cousin that sits at the far end of the table sort of thing. So, yeah,
Canadians.
you get it.
Yeah, I was actually going to open this because in tribute to the 2 main slip-ups that you might have made in earlier episodes, I was going to say, here we are with the two lovely Canadian ladies.
I can handle that. We're closer to Canada than New York City, so it makes sense.
Oh goodness. So,
speaking of, no, you go. Sorry,
we're talking about a lot of things, but we're not talking about a lot of Bluey. One thing that I'm curious.
I said our subject matter was very similar, but we have to get to the subject matter first, I guess.
Yes, maybe.
I just want to get your guys' history with the show. Like, what got you into it? What made you fall in love? Like me personally, I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. I saw them watching it, and at first, like, what's this goofy show? What's going on? Then they left the room, and I kept watching for like 5 hours. So I'm curious if it's a similar situation, or what got you guys like on the Bluey bandwagon.
Yeah, I'll start with that. Basically, my son is only about 2.5 at the moment, and so when he was born, and as you know, you're doing that terrible sleep training in the first sort of year of their life, trying to work out, when they should be asleep and awake, and what he quickly became obsessed with was the Wiggles, which is a bit of a staple in any Australian house. Yeah, right. And yet it's quite a universal thing.
They're our 2 greatest exports.
Yeah,
Bluey and Wiggles.
And we pretty quickly got tired of that. And then it was actually my wife who was just flicking around going, there's got to be something else. All right, let's stick with Australian content. Let's see what we got here. A cartoon show about dogs. Let's see that. And then she started telling me about it. I was sort of off at work and stuff. And then I think the episode that got me was Sean, where you just see Bandit's commitment to the bit, and he's doing the liar animated hand thing. You don't know where Sean begins and Bandit ends. And I just went, that's the dad I want to be. I want to be like that. Now, that's hard work, as we all know, but it's not possible, exactly.
Something to strive for, though, every day.
That was the moment for me where I just went, okay, what's that? Jack's gone to bed. Bluey, anyone? Let's finish off season 2, hey? Like, what about yourself there, Marty?
Sorry, that was for me. Okay, cool. For me, what was it? I think I came back to Adelaide, so hanging out with you guys, and I think I'd seen just a small bit of the pool episode, and just remember going, that was actually pretty good for a kids show. I just was flicking through channels, and I'm just like, wait a minute, that was quite funny. And then I was talking to some friends who had kids at the time. I think we were still expecting my daughter, and they were just going, no, it's really good Australian content. It's really nice in that sort of way, and it's just like really classy. So I just watched a couple, and then just, as you say, you sort of just get addicted, and it's just so nuanced in various different ways. And then I got stuck talking to these guys, so it's
like, what we do.
Roped in.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
And what's your secret origin story, Brendan? You and your kids, is that?
Yeah,
Sorry, sorry.
those children that I have. Yeah, I'm
Those
the
nieces and nephews that are popping all over your show there.
in-
They're the real stars.
no, in the immortal words of Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. And that would be me. I do not have any children, but I am blessed with 14 nibblings at my last count. Yeah,
but you're one of.
I'm one of seven.
Yeah,
So
you go.
yeah, Irish Catholic family. So there's 7 of us,
Feel ya.
and I'm the
Wonder
only one who's not married with
there,
children. Yep. Yep, that's me. And so, it was only a matter of time before someone related to me with children recommended a show as good as this to me. I mean, we live in an age of endless TV show recommendations now. It drives everything. Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch, and you find a new one, and like I get annoyed by people telling me you've got to watch this, every time they see me, but I do the same thing, so I don't have a leg to stand on.
Sure.
But Bluey is the best example of something that I wish I'd listened to someone about it sooner, because it was my sister Kelly. I will credit her for this till the day I die. She was just, for months, just kind of, Brendan, Bluey, ABC iView, it's free. You've got it. Watch it. And then one day I had to be round at her house and said, you are not leaving without me showing you this. And she showed me, because she's got 2 young boys, and she showed me Takeaway.
Yep.
And then the Pool.
Nice.
And Takeaway, I was just like, surely this is what we've all been waiting for. And then there was one moment in the pool where I thought maybe it's a happy accident. Maybe it's just this one. I should watch another episode. And then there was one moment in the pool that just clinched it. I went, okay, this is not an accident. This show
The shadows moving
is
in
numero
or something.
uno. Yeah. Oh, hooly dooly. It was actually a very Australian moment when whose pool is it? Is it Uncle Stripe's pool?
Yeah,
Yep,
that's right.
Yeah, and Bandit bursts in and like, oh, Uncle Stripe's here letting us use his pool while they're in Bali. And I don't know if that's if that translates, but I was on the floor and I just thought, okay, these guys know exactly what they're doing, and they know who their market is. Not just the children, but the parents of the children. It's just, it boggles my mind that just show it took so long for someone to get this right.
Bring it back to when you talked about like how it was so Australian. You said something about how somebody said something about how there was a PowerPoint in the weekend. So Australian. You guys talked about that. And I was just like, okay. I didn't.
To clarify, we're talking about an electrical socket on the wall, not
the outlets.
Microsoft Office PowerPoint.
No.
All right.
Yeah, the outlet.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
the
sense.
outlet on the wall. Okay, hang on. So
I am now no longer calling that an electrical socket or an outlet. It's now a PowerPoint, and I don't care.
yeah, socket or outlet is it?
Yeah.
So PowerPoint is not a term that. So why did Microsoft call their software PowerPoint? This is madness. Is Microsoft not an American company?
Oh,
And they just was Bill Gates just in the country one day and said, "Oh, your outlets look funny, like it's a PowerPoint," and he just went, "Oh, I've got an idea." For a slideshow program that's going to be way better than Keynote when Jobs invents that.
Yes. I think what that comes from is that for years as Australians, we get fed a lot of American content on our screens, and when there is shots of stuff being plugged in, it's always the electrical outlets that you guys would be familiar with, and ours are quite a distinctive shape, and we're forever, we get a lot. If we were to order electronic stuff off of eBay and these places like this, it'll come with multiple plugs that you have to switch out, and you have to make sure you get the right Australian one. So for the first time in what feels like forever, to see one on the telly and you go, yes, that's what it should look like. Forget this other stuff. That's what it should look like.
Yeah.
It spoke to us.
It's weird seeing stuff that shouldn't be weird, but because it's on a screen, it's weird because like we see it every day, but the moment we see it on a screen, it's like, oh wait, that's not the American one. and shout out to the beautiful New Zealand as well, because they share the same design of PowerPoints.
Do they?
So yeah, they do. So so if you were to call it a New Zealand PowerPoint, no Twitter follows would have a go at you for that.
You see, and that's what confused me so much, why I thought initially, just because I know that about New Zealand PowerPoint, so I just assumed.
yeah.
I think a thing for us is like, you know, when we're watching an American show, because, you know, a lot of our content comes from over where you guys are, and we just hear an Australian voice, it's just a very odd situation. It feels out of place for us. It just feels very, very strange. Yeah. So having a show in which the accents are, you know, it's like a polished show. One of the other things is like, there's a lot of Australian television that's actually, a lot of Australian television is quite depressing. Just in terms of content and things like that.
We have a term called the cultural cringe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that translates either, but
It does.
but yeah, it's like Hollywood is Hollywood for a reason. Like you can,
I see what you were going for, but stop it.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah, I mean, I love Australian TV, the good stuff, but there's a lot of. Maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot here.
What's your favorite Australian TV show?
Oh, favorite Australian TV show, man. Oh,
Yep, coming
I'd
out.
have to go with the Australian TV show Goober. I think that was. So I'm making a joke here. This was it's a show called Goober. It stars, well, the main actor. He's kind of, you know, he's not a bad actor, but he's just not very attractive, really.
Into the bit.
no.
Yeah, no, it's
what?
it's
No,
my man
it's
Brendan.
like I haven't actually talked about the show Goober on our podcast because sadly you can't watch it in Australia anymore. It used to be on ABC iView, same streaming service on which we share a little show named Bluey, which I think you should all check out, listeners.
Look into that.
But no, I believe you can watch it in the States though. So if any American listeners want to jump onto
Bandits
Topic,
Watching Bluey.
I believe is the streaming service Topic.
Hashtag Goober.
And you can look for Goober, Goober.
Dunzo.
It's a delightful little program about an Uber driver who's on the autism spectrum, and hilarity ensues because he's just a really lovely guy who tries really, really hard.
It's him.
And,
It's him.
and there's
Brendan-
not much acting involved.
Brendan is the Goober.
But I play a guy called Harry who keeps getting himself into very difficult situations because he just can't really read social cues as well as a lot of the people who get into his car. And yeah, but that's thank you for bringing that up, Marty, because I didn't want to use this podcast for my own nefarious means.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Goober Topic. You can check it out and stream it.
It's happening. It's happening. No, but going back to entry points to Bluey, the one that hit me the most, that when, you know, it went from being just the show the kids watch to one that I was into, was The Dump. Just
Oh,
the
Do it, Frank. Frank does it
idolizing
really
of
well.
Dad, he's perfect. I'm great. To why are you throwing away my drawings? Because I've been there, man. I've been down that. You know, I'm just recycling it. So other people, that was a great line. We enjoy that one to the point where about 6 months ago, I was like, "Hey kids, guess where we're going today?" And I said The Dump, and I could have said Disney World, and the reaction would probably been just about the same. We went to the car wash after, did the hairy monster attack. It was like one of the best daddy-daughter days in the world. It's like, all right, let's show my how they're going on.
it's the Dump.
We're going to the Dump.
Mike, what's your big one, buddy?
I lucked out. I did luck out because it's my favorite episode of the first 13 that we watched. So my first that I did see was Barbecue. So I did luck out with that.
That's
So
up there.
I got to see I got to see Uncle Stripe and doing his thing, laughing at him, and just Bluey having her moments. And I was like, I realized the show's just, there's a little something more underneath the underneath the levels. There's something going on here. So
And accuracy is the name of the game in that episode.
Yeah.
We have all been to that barbecue, that family barbecue. I've been there. I've been there.
And
Those conversations have happened around me. It's exactly right.
yeah, the
I mean,
conversations around everybody that's going on at that same moment it makes me want to be there. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
I'm very mad at you guys right now because as a bingo fan, why has nobody mentioned the salads with all of this?
Somebody mention the salads.
I think I really love that episode as well, and because I think that was the first one. Potentially, it's the first one where you hear the parents' names, which I think is so real because that's where you hear your parents' names.
Yeah, man.
Call them mum and dad, but then you're around at a catch up with some friends, and you're like, "Who's Bandit?
Who's Bandit?
Like, why are they calling my dad Bandit?" But and that just gets slipped into conversation. A moment isn't made of it. So there's some just really nice stuff like that, and I think that's kind of the attitude they take to all the stuff they make. Is just it's the subtlety. Yeah,
we just talked about the episode with judo. I don't know the name of the episode off the top of my head.
Butterflies.
Butterfly. Was it? No.
Butterflies, yeah.
Yoga ball. Was it? No, it was butterflies.
Butterfly, yeah.
And she doesn't refer to him as Bandit. She says Bluey's dad.
Blue's dad. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, because that's how kids talk to their friends' parents.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, absolutely.
it's really cool. So it drops a level on that. Where to, Gumshoe?
Where to? Well, we're about to get in. The whole point of this was talking season 3. But before we get there, now that we've got you in our trap,
You're stuck with us now, guys.
as we've gone through our first 14 episodes of this show, there's some questions that came up, some big questions, and we're hoping that you lads can help us answer them.
We'll do our best.
All right,
Buckle
let's go.
up, buttercups.
Where do they put their phones when they're not using them? Anything there?
See, here I was thinking that the questions would have been Australian specific questions that I'd be able to jump in. But these, and because there were some questions listening to your podcast that I was like, oh, I could answer that, and then there were some questions that I was like, I can't answer that, and I didn't realize that you were going to leap straight for the latter.
Behind them. There's one shot.
Behind them?
There's one shot in which Bandit, I remember, it's an episode we looked at, but we failed to mention it in the episode. He takes his wallet out, presumably of his back pocket.
Yep.
Oh.
Where's it go?
Yeah. It's his back pocket.
It's not keeping pocket.
Nose.
And then question 2 was, what are cats? Are cats?
Cats.
Frank has a theory.
Cats are superheroes in the Blueyverse. I'm telling you now. You think Cat Squad with that annoying little, when we've spoken about, I think on when we talked about the Muffin Library episode, and it comes in with that annoying, almost Samurai Pizza Cat styled, theme song on the bike. Cat Squad, right? Like, they're superheroes. They're these imaginary. They're like dragons are to us. Cats are like that.
Yeah,
because
we watch shows like, or kids will watch shows like Spyro or My Little Pony, and they're like with the unicorns, not ponies. Ponies exist, guys. but these fantastical creatures that have names and they perform tasks and save the world, and that's what Frank suspects a cat is in the Blueyverse.
Yeah, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I'll accept that answer. See, you were saying you guys weren't going to be able to help us with these ones, and that was a solid answer. But you were saying you had some questions for us. Some of us Americans can feel smart for a second.
Ooh, did we?
Not prepared.
No,
You're implying that we prepared for this. That's interesting.
That's not the Australian way.
That's not the Australian way at all, mate.
That's the American 6 a.m. way. We came up with questions about 20 minutes ago. So.
I guess. Well, okay.
I gotta say, I just really feel sorry for people who who have to catch up with all this Australian stuff because we have the benefit. Like, it's not like we tried harder to research American pop culture. It was just, it's always been there. We were born and raised on The Simpsons, and like, it's just that our stuff never. When something makes it big in America, it makes it big in the world. But when something makes it big in Australia, that might not necessarily mean you've ever heard of it. So we're. I'm at a loss.
Was
for
that a
things to
question?
ask.
Was that a question?
No, that's me explaining why I can't think of a question.
Cool story.
We know
Cool
everything
story.
about
Tickle
you
out the
people.
bit
Good
where you
luck
didn't
with
ask
your
a question.
I think
Go, Marty.
maybe
Ask a question.
maybe my question would be like,
Go, Marty.
you know, what is the what's the hardest accent to deal with in the show, or is there any particular like
That's a
forms
good
of
one.
dialogue, or like what's the stuff that's
Yeah.
just like
Man.
doesn't make sense?
I
When
always
you have to have the
subtitles on 'cause
subtitles
my son Finn asked for it. He always wants to read along with the show, so that's where it's.
I think the hardest dialect for me
Nice.
most of the time is Socks. It usually seems like he's just kind of barking.
The one who doesn't talk.
But
yeah.
Otherwise, it seems pretty
Yeah.
attainable.
Doesn't she? She said a few words now. She's saying a couple. She does now, doesn't she? She said a few words now. She's saying a couple of
But
words
no,
now.
it just feels
Even
like
though
a
she's a
show. It
littly?
doesn't feel, out there. And one of my favorite thing about doing this podcast with Mike is just kind of taking, when you watch it with the kiddos, or just, watch it late at night after the kiddos are asleep, you're not pausing every 10 seconds or rewinding or like trying to get every word of it.
watching it, man.
And just seeing like the extra
Yeah.
stuff and the detail they put into it. Like, man, it's such a show.
So
man, it's so good.
go for
Oh man. It's
Okay,
so
well,
good.
one of the other questions I guess is like, how many of the endearments that Bandit calls the kids are familiar?
I
Um,
called Greg out on this most recent episode that we haven't posted yet. He called them squids, which was funny because I looked it up online. He calls it
The squids or squids?
Squids?
Judo and
beginning of
Bluey
Is
is
it-
squid.
yes, and it's an endearment of a nerd, a loser. What's this?
Is it squids?
I don't think it's
Well, in
squids.
America,
I think
it's
it's
squid.
probably
In America,
what is it?
It pulls up on that
And
episode.
because
as
I'm
squids.
curious if some of the
okay.
things that he
That was the judo
Which
episode.
which episode was it? Sorry.
butterflies.
Yeah, when he's doing the laundry, he walks away and he's like, "All right, squids," and he walks away, and I'm like, "There's squids."
Okay.
I would have said squibs. Squib with a B, but okay, I'm gonna have to check
It
that
was
now
a weird one.
because with a B, yeah, I was saying I would have guessed with a
What-
B
what's-
because
what's a
squibs
squib?
is
What's a
something
squib?
we do call our kids.
I don't know.
No, you've never squib.
A small
Just like,
thing.
a small thing.
I was about
It's
to
a
say.
small
Because
thing. Anyway, I'm gonna have to
in
go
the
check
beginning
that
of the
now.
episode when judo pops up and he walks away, he was just like, "All right, squids," and he walks away, and I'm like, "What the heck? What's a squid?" But if that's the case, then
I wonder what else is off. But most of it, ding dongs and
Buster.
Buster, Sport, Mate. Yeah, we can figure out most of them there.
Yeah.
Again,
Maybe.
assuming
have no
we're getting
idea
the
what
right
we're
words
doing.
and they're not,
I
anything.
guess,
We can't see
some of
horses
them-
poop. we
Yeah,
can't
I
know
guess.
what capsicums are, and we can't know Australian slang terms for your kiddos.
Oh no! We're
Now
opening
that's
up
a
the-
question I have.
That's where I was gonna
That's
go.
a question I have. Yeah. Well, my question that I had was, how do you know about the things that are
Here's
missing?
with
Yeah.
the
Go
horse. With one of the first episodes I saw was Markets, and we're watching it. We're watching it on Disney Plus, and Buttercup. Right. Buttercup, you're so beautiful, and then poops, and
Yep.
then
Yep.
the entire house erupts into laughter, except my wife, who kind of rolls her eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
Then, like a week later,
Because it's poop.
then a week
doesn't
later,
love
then a week
poop?
later, it's on
Jokes.
again. And the
Jokes.
kids are waiting for it, and they cut, and we have a riot in our house.
Where's the poop?
Right.
Hashtag release the poop cut.
So they gave it to you and then they took it
can't
away.
Lines.
We can't have teasing. We can't
how
have
rude.
dad baby.
That's
man.
right. New T-shirt.
Give us back our poop.
Where's the boot?
And that sounds like on The Simpsons, like a newspaper would spin into the frame, just like, yeah. Where's the
now
poop?
my question for you, based on that. When
Well,
the
to
newspaper
that
spins
point,
into
for
frame,
my
does it spin clockwise or counterclockwise? Because in America it spins clockwise, but I heard in the southern hemisphere.
That is, look, I'm
Coriolis effect.
I don't know what to say. That's an excellent joke. I'm just, I'm out.
Yep, it's good.
Always leave them
I love
on
it.
more.
I'm out.
And the dapper hat, he dons the dapper hat and he's out.
Well, God, let's put you guys on point then, if that's where we're gonna go. Season 3.
Oh.
I have been fighting. You know, it's hard to have a Bluey Twitter account and avoid spoilers, but I've been dodging left and right. I know there's something about a crib. I know there's something about Grandpa.
Nothing.
But what's going on, man? Like, what is? Do we have a tearjerker on our hands here? What's going on?
You see,
Well, okay, let's bit of context. With season 3, they are dropping it one episode a day for the next 24. I think it's probably half a season that they'll one a day. So it's not even a Netflix style binge.
The third
thing.
one dropped today.
Yeah, so we've only seen the first 3 episodes. We won't spoil any of the other 2, but we are here today to talk about that first episode of season 3. How spoilery do you want us to go with
I'm not a
this?
spoiler by nature, but I'll do what
Do
I'm
you
told.
want us to talk about the pregnancy announcement, or?
I swear! I
Yeah.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Are you messing with us?
Completely
Are you
messing with you.
What I will say is Mike, as a father of one boy, I'm not saying that this episode, the first episode, can we say the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first, the first, bedroom. Like, I think Perfect is available. Is it the last?
Have you guys got the Perfect episode?
Father's
Which is
Day
Father's
episode?
Day?
I have. Have you seen Perfect?
I have not seen
I know what we're doing after this
watching
then.
it fresh kind of thing. So
Right.
I have seen Perfect. That snuck out here.
Yeah, okay, sure.
delicious.
Because we weren't sure, because there's some controversy as to whether that's going to be a standalone special episode or whether that's being called season 3, episode 1.
Yep.
But the official episode 1 that we've got, called Bedroom, Mike, I'm not saying that as a father of one boy, you this won't tear your heart apart. I'm not saying it won't. It probably will, because it did mine, and I'm about as far from having kids as I've ever been.
I'm like clenching my feet right now.
But Greg, as a father of 2 sisters, prepare ye. Prepare ye.
Oh no!
I have to walk away from this.
You're not going to make me cry on this podcast, are you?
It's
Can we bring up other things about Australia and how we?
So we're a tearjerker.
Nope,
So we're
okay.
leading out the season with a tearjerker. Oh boy!
So again, trying to dodge the spoilers. Probably a one-liner synopsis is it's reached that time in the Healer household where a spare room has become available, and Bluey goes, "I want to move into that room." So the story centers around Bluey getting her own room and what that does to the dynamics with her and Bingo.
That makes sense. That's a growing up. That's a growing up episode. You're going
little
from
heart's gonna be torn
like
in
we
half.
talked about when you look at the end of the bed stands. There's a small B and a big B
Yep.
for Bluey and Bingo. So sometimes it's time to grow up. I know. Stop.
I can hear Bingo saying something along the lines of, "Why are you leaving me? Are you mad at me? Did I do something?" Oh, Bingo's not gonna take this well. Oh no.
And I think my wife, when she saw this episode, she is the youngest of 3 in her family. She has an older sister and an older brother. Again, dancing around the specifics of the episode a little bit, but Bluey and Bingo are initially very amicable about the whole thing. They're literally at one point dividing the toys. They go, well, these toys will go into my room and these toys will go into Bingo's room. And it's lovely, right? And that's the thing. You said they go, oh, and my wife looks at it. And sorry to the editors here, but my wife looks at it and goes, that's bull, right? As someone who has an older sister, she went, nah. No way would that happen. Like, this show is making it seem too perfect and too idyllic. There's got to be some conflict here later on. No two sisters divide their possessions that well, having shared a room for the first, 5 or 6 years of their life. But except the healers can do it. They can do it.
Share a room, and if a toy ends up in the other person's room, it's
Yeah.
game over, man.
Whereas I'm coming from the angle of I was one of 7 kids in a household with 2 parents of, moderate incomes, but my angle is just you get your own room? What is that? You get your own things? What?
You
mean you get a toy that wasn't 4 people's toys before it was yours? What is this?
Wasn't your room just like a drawer, chest of drawers, and the bottom drawer was just that's where Brendan lived?
And you couldn't close it yourself. You had to get someone else to close it, and if you were the first one in, there was a problem. Sometimes they got stuck, and then weeks go by before anyone even noticed you were missing.
And the last person has like a broomstick with a hook on it, and then they close.
I'm surprised it took this long for Bluey to get own room. It looks like they have like 75 rooms in that upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the other thing.
The other ones, but
in
the yoga ball there, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
In this episode, it appears, and I know there's been both on your show and ours, a lot of talk about the healer house and just how laid out it is and gorgeous it is. From what I can tell, this appears to be a brand new room that we've never seen in this magical unfolding house. It's like a green sort of paint in it, and I'm like, this doesn't look familiar to me at all. So I'm sure the Bluey architects out there, I've literally seen people who have designed in 3D CAD drawing programs, they've drawn up the entire healer household, and now they're going to have to fit in another whole room. Like, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Greg,
yeah,
does Bluey end up in the new room?
Oh, you want me to get my guess?
Predictions.
Roll them dice. Roll them dice there, young man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say there's some difficulty. I think there's gonna be some sleepy time issues where Bingo's nervous to be alone. But I think in the end it's gonna end up with 2 kids with their own rooms, which is kind of heartbreaking. That's a big change. That was going to be one of my questions here. Any big changes for the healer family?
Well, also, as parents, it sucks to have to unbuild and rebuild a bed.
There may be a couple of references to Bandit who thinks he's done moving all this furniture, and then Bluey makes the call to say, "No, I want that room," and Chili's like, "Oi, big fella, can you move the bed back again?" He's like, "Oh, come on!" So,
and now that Bingo has got more room, maybe she's rethinking where she wants her bed to go. So even when
I think what I said for this one, there's some great Bandit lines in this one.
Oh my gosh!
And the note I had down was this sort of episode shows us that men are for moving things, not for emotional intelligence. So you can take that into the episode with you, and you can see what
me and Frank are sitting here going, "Oh yes, very clever, very clever, very clever line," and you guys are in the dark.
If it's going to be a deep episode, Chili's got to play a big role.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's going to be emotional, Chili's got to be a big player here.
And there is a new character.
We should emotional roller coasters as well as Chili.
We should.
So let me get out my magic 8 ball. All signs point to yes.
Yeah.
So
it's not it's not so heavily swayed one way as it like a magic xylophone or something where Chili's only in it, where one of the parents is only in it for a second. It's more evenly spread than that, but it is more Chili than Bandit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, question. Was there a whimper moment?
What resulted with his whimper? Hey?
Willie's whimper.
I can tell you officially that Willie's whimper was resulted in the very opening seconds. It just took a little. It was just, honestly. I I was hanging on to this. I'm like, the episodes are gonna drop. This is gonna be awesome. I actually left work because I'm like I deliver the mail, but I'm in the hills and in a rural area, so I'm pretty much like the only person who looks.
He's
over
his
my
own
shoulder.
boss,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. That's
People yell at you and
a much
say,
quicker
"Yay,
way of
thank you for
Frank's.
delivering mail to my dad."
Everyone's very good at saying things a lot more quickly than I am.
I know,
That's
right?
weird. I'm actually glad you got me on a podcast. I actually downed tools halfway through the day and stopped home after going to the bakery, and I brought my sister a pie, and she goes, "Do you want to watch that while you're home? You want to watch that?"
Oh, yeah.
That new episode. And I said, "Do I ever?" I was going to leave it to tonight, but I'm not insane. So we put it on, and just one look from Chili at this cot that they might be. Now this is entering spoiler territory. I mean, you listeners know that by now.
Okay.
I'm just so anti-spoiler that I'm just so on edge right now. But no, just one little look from her showing that maybe this isn't the easiest time for her, and I was gone. I just said to my sister, "I'm gone already." and I tell you what, it didn't get easier from there.
Oh no!
Biscuits.
Well said.
I have to say, there is a new character. New character's name is Malcolm. I'm not sure if Malcolm's come up before, but I'm hoping Malcolm appears
No, this would
again.
be Malcolm's debut.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I look forward to Malcolm. Very interesting.
Also,
More Malcolm, please.
Yeah, you'll also keep.
Ooh, we're pro Malcolm.
Pro Malcolm.
We're very pro Malcolm.
You'll also note there are some of the Easter eggs that they tend to put in the show. You will find a tennis ball, you will find a long dog, and you will also find the return of our good friend the Sticky Gecko in this episode.
I didn't spot Sticky Gecko the first time, but yeah,
He's there. He's
for
there.
the keen-eyed.
Those shows that you watch
Sticky
a couple
Gecko.
times.
Yep.
Sticky
Yeah.
Gecko's got a bad place
Just
in our
gives
house
and gives
because
and gives.
we were dumb enough to get a Sticky Gecko.
Ah,
That was
nice.
a bad day, and the oil stain's still there. Don't do it. Well, with that, good spoiler-free synopsis. I can't wait to see this thing now. A thing that we do that we're going to be a little lax in here.
That was the most
just curious.
cautious spoiler cast ever.
Who was your guys' favorite character from this episode?
I'm going with Malcolm.
Oh, look.
Okay, there you go.
He only gets the one line, but it's a beauty.
Okay. Look, sort of honorable mention to Gloria. But no, I'm going for Malcolm as well.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to break it. I don't know. I think my favorite character is. It's kind of hard. Well, I'm gonna be a jerk and sort of say it's the relationship between Bandit and Chili and the way that comes out in this episode. Just those sequences.
Yeah.
So it's just it's not Bandit and Chili interacting with the kids. It's Bandit and Chili interacting with one another. I can't really quite pick either of Bandit or Chili in this one, but because it's in that magic between them. Some of the stuff that happens when they're just just trying to deal with what's going on upstairs.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about them is the fact that you cannot give a time frame of how long they've been together.
yeah.
Because it seems like they have a history of
They've lived a life before kids.
they had a whole life before kids.
Yeah.
And it's that speaks miles because you'll see pictures in the background. You're just like, they were doing that.
Yeah.
Doing that?
Yeah.
It's
And
so cool.
I suppose time frames altogether is something that they probably avoid because, are they 4 or are they 28?
Dog years?
So it's probably wise to kind of steer clear of that, I guess. But it's also, I like the mystery. Mystery is fun, and answers aren't necessarily needed.
Exactly. Hey, Greg,
Yo.
who's your favorite character from the first 2 seasons, at least?
Oh wow.
That's a question.
It's gotta be my girl Bingo. I am team Bingo all the way. That was too easy. Bingo could not.
Dunk. Oh,
Dingo could not be my youngest daughter anymore. So it's got to be. It's got to be Bingo. How about you, Mike?
I am going to pick little sausage legs.
Yes.
Snickers.
The Snicks.
Okay, so on our mutual friend Wiki Bluey,
Yes.
the synopsis, the little character synopsis for Snickers is, and I quote, "Not the most physical kid, but loves machines, atoms, and the stars. And my heart, Snickers, belonged to you since that day."
We are on the opposite sides of the earth, and in the same exact.
I'm feeling it, Mike. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I think there's some tears right now. Like, forget what was Altered Willie's whimper.
Yeah, I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Boy, Snicks.
Bluey bringing the world together.
What about you guys?
So, favorite character from across seasons 1 and 2.
Drop it. Yeah, I'm going to drop that hammer.
If you guys say Malcolm again, I'm going to have to watch this episode right now.
I'm gonna go with little Jack, who appears with our good friend Rusty in the Army episode. A little bit of a soft spot for the name because that's the same name as my son, but and my son is only 2.5, but just seeing the way Jack is interacting with other kids at daycare and these sorts of things, I go, yeah, he's pretty much on track to be that Jack Russell. He loves running. You know, he may not be he sort of struggles with some of his social interactions and stuff at times, but he will not stop. He doesn't stop. He doesn't know how to stop. And you know what? He may not be the smartest kid in the class, and that's a very big call for me to make, considering the kid's 2.5. But you know, that sort of thing. I don't care. I don't care if he is that kid who needs support, extra support, or whatever they call it these days. He's just going to be that friendly kid, and he's going to make some great friends. And Jack, yeah,
Surprising no one with the quality of parents that he has, man.
Oh, this guy.
Aw, what a guy.
What about you, Marty? Favorite character from across 2 seasons?
I was hoping you wouldn't choose me next because I'm still fluctuating
Yeah, give me more
between a whole
time.
bunch of different ones. I don't know. I think it's
Bluey. Excuse me.
like honorable mentions to people like Nana. Might even be Nana actually.
Nana.
Yeah, go Nana.
But I think you kind of have to, like, you know, if it's not Nana, it's Chili. Like Chili just gets so many.
Chili is boss.
But Nana is great. It's just like, you know, the ultimate grandma for
Yeah.
presentation. Just so right, so on the money. Each time she's presented, it's just like absolutely. On the
Yeah,
ball.
you're right.
I think we say in the
3 episodes,
we
she's
would-
like so clutch. She's like the
Yeah.
perfect grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the I think we said in our episode, which I think it's the grannies, which is the first one. Well, that's one we talked about, and the way that they use both, you know, they have the presentation of the ridiculous type of what is it? Monty Python type grandma, but then you have the funniness of the real grandma, and just the classic sort of "I'll get my glasses" sort of scenarios. So
Just put down some olive oil. That'll help him walk. What are you doing, Grandma?
and just like, oh no, I'll make a proper gravy for your thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so
Your Nana's
that was
old
just
school.
it's just so real.
Ugh.
Real. Anyway, Brennan, I think you're up.
I can't do it. You
gotta do
I
it.
can't do it.
Gotta do it.
Look,
Blue is.
very possibly Snickers. But there's all different categories of why they're, if they're near to me and near to my heart and like me, like Snickers and Jack. I'll call it. We haven't actually, because we do we select episodes at random. We haven't actually touched on Army yet, but I'm going to announce it right now. That's my favorite episode.
Yeah.
Army is my favorite.
Good call.
And we'll go into that in more depth when we tackle the episode ourselves, Ben. I won't waste any more of your time now. But Army, Jack, Jack and Snickers are part of me. But in terms
You
of
can pick both. It's okay.
Yeah.
My wife, when we did
Yeah.
our guest episode and the wife's announced their favorite episodes, my wife said she liked,
Daddy Robot.
bike, and she didn't announce what her favorite episode
Yeah.
was. She just
Couldn't
said,
split it.
I like
Yeah.
both of those.
Open-ended.
Yeah.
The end.
But
So-
but I do. Part of me feels like it would be a crime not to mention Rusty, because Rusty is the man.
It's so good.
He's the man. But but yeah, that's my non-answer.
It's not Busker. It's not Busker, Brendan.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah. Look, and then there's the other category is side characters.
Yeah, in which it's
And
Busker
Busker.
for Brendan and Dutch guy for me.
Busker, appropriately voiced by the one and only Joff Bush. Hooly dooly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Who
side-
likes
oh,
to
no.
dance?
Side comment. Nope. Number two.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky's dad.
You're doubling back from
He's the man.
Snickers, Lucky's dad.
Cutting back a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a very.
Oh my
you're very much a
God.
Pat.
I
So can
cannot.
see that.
I cannot wait to see the pilot for CSI My Hammy, by the way. I cannot wait.
How good is that?
It's gotta
Oh,
happen.
man.
It's gotta happen.
Forget about belly laughs in Bluey alone. I was trying to deliver the mail today and catching up on the more recent episodes and like people in my postcode must think I'm insane. I'm just like delivering the mail. And, yep, listen along.
Oh my god. Oh, do we have any follow up questions? Finish up questions?
I
I,
just-
have a couple personally.
I've
Oh.
got to getting through our magical questions we have to ask end of every episode. It's gonna be a hard one, spoiler free. But what was your favorite thing about bedrooms? Or bedroom? Bedrooms
Wow.
or bedroom?
Bed,
Hotel?
I know mine.
bedroom.
I know.
Just the one, I think.
I know my
Okay.
favorite.
Oh, go.
Am I allowed to tell you guys?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
It's technically.
I will.
spoiler-free,
I
so
know
no-
it's terrible to continue to ask the same question, but I love the episode so much, and I don't want to spoil for anyone the feeling I got when I watched it for the first time. So I am sorry, but when they are told to go to bed and they're in separate rooms and they can no longer go into each other's rooms because it's bedtime, then the notes begin and sliding notes across the hallway, and the first note that is. The first
Yeah.
note
Oh,
that's
man.
sent. Does Bingo send the first one? Yes.
No, Bluey
Bingo
sends
sends
the
the
first
first.
one.
Oh,
Right.
we give those to each other. Oh.
And Bingo slides the note across the hallway, and you see it slide in. And there's just a wide shot of Bluey's bedroom, and it just kind of comes in the beautiful animation style that they're known for. And Bingo goes, "Ooh!" Gets up, opens it up, and all that's on there is a 4-year-old's drawing of a love heart. And that's yeah.
You broke Greg.
I know.
He's out. He's
Yeah.
out.
I tried to warn you, Greg. I'm sorry.
Oh dear sweet Bingo.
Probably my favorite thing in this episode would be, the new rooms have been established, the parents go downstairs, and all of a sudden they hear the do of the kids clearly running around upstairs, and Chili and Bandit look at each other, and there's a moment where they both try and say, not it, like not my turn, and Bandit gets in first, like 2 times in a row, and he just congratulates himself and just goes, "Oh, so good." That's my favorite thing.
It's also you, Frank.
Chili should
I
have
could
learned
just
from the
see
first
you
one.
doing that. man.
Yeah, it's 100%. Oh, you guys, Bandit and Chili, Frank
they're on
and
point.
his alley, the parallels, they just keep on coming.
I said
She was great on the episode too.
Oh,
yeah. She's
Ellie was awesome.
yeah.
nah, she's a good egg. Don't
Keep your hands off.
promise.
for me, I was saying that Bandit's got some good line deliveries. Frank's already stole probably what I should have thought of as that, but there's a great line. I think you even said it already, Frank, which is just like, "Don't call me big fella."
Oh, yeah.
People calling it, yeah. He's just getting name called, and just one of his very truncated lines, very much like we're going to Hammer Barn. Just one of those
Yeah.
very
Don't call me
dry,
big fella.
walking out of the room type lines.
Yeah, this
that's-
brilliant little exchange where he's just moved. I think he's just moved in.
He's just moved the bed.
Bluey's
Yeah.
bed, and so they're in Bluey's new room, and Bandit's just like, there you go. Fine, I'm gonna go sit down on the couch again. Bingo's like, thanks, big fella. Don't call me big fella. And then Bingo comes straight in the door without missing a beat. Bingo goes, hey, big fella, do you reckon you can...
Great. I feel like I'm going to be called big fella a lot once this comes out.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah, that's happening.
There we go.
Can I, I love that you guys don't have breakfast anymore and you have brekkie. Like, that's, like...
Oh, it's all brekkie.
Like,
It's always
it's funny
brekkie.
because a lot of Bandit stuff and a lot of the Blueyisms of the show are all, like, pretty new to me, and I've adopted them. But some of them, I love hearing the ones that aren't new to me being new to you. It's a lot of fun.
Brekkie's a heavy one.
Brekkie, Dunny. We talk about the Dunny a lot in the house now.
And my
Queen has
curse
improved,
words
but, you know.
have completely
Yeah.
obliterated.
And when you're
I
busting,
say-
when you're busting to go to the loo, that's a big
Oh,
one.
you're
Oh, for
busting.
sure.
Yeah.
You busting.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
Gotta
biscuits,
take that tactical wee so you don't bust.
cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
Duck cake.
Beautiful.
And I know Mike's got a couple more questions for you, but I gotta ask the final of our big three.
Uh-oh, you're doing the big ones.
What do you rank this episode?
Oh, man.
Not sure if you've listened to some of the past catalog here. Our ranks
Yep.
don't really matter.
Yeah. No,
what do you rank it
I
nonetheless?
hear that. It's nice to have a scaling point system that has no meaning. It's kind of like the Olympics.
What do you mean? Whoa! There's meaning.
It's very whose line. We're very whose line about it.
I would give this 8 out of 8 Malcolms. That's what I'll do.
Oh, that's good.
Malcolm again.
And he likes Malcolm too. That's a.
Ooh.
I'm gonna.
You guys are going to be so underwhelmed and disappointed when you see Malcolm, but it's okay.
But the important thing is Bluey and Bingo aren't disappointed when they see Malcolm.
Oh,
they're
no.
very happy when they see
Very
Malcolm.
excited.
I think for me, I'm gonna stir the pot a bit more and say I think this episode is just not as good as the episode that comes afterwards.
Oh, really? You're a big
Wow.
fan. Oh, hey, can I just say, are you guys familiar with the 1981 Peter Weir film Gallipoli?
That's the one with Mel Gibson, right?
Mel Gibson,
Yes.
correct,
Yeah,
correctamundo.
Yes.
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 I don't know how familiar you are with it, but
With
if you
with the getting ready
Yeah.
scene, and he's
yeah, without giving too much away, because we're not spoiling the next episode, we're spoiling this one. Just give that a rewatch before episode 2.
I may have spoiled myself going through Reddit.
I see.
Google it.
No, I was punching.
jogging scene
I
where
was
he's the-
I was punching the air when that came on. Yeah.
So, ranking.
Ratings.
It's the one spoiler I saw. It's the only one.
Sure.
Speaking of, if we're going to talk
And
about
this-
episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and we're a bunch of Bluey podcasters, one thing that I'll not spoil, but just say, Kate and Mary of Gotta Be Done in Promises.
Oh.
That's podcaster goals right there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness! I saw that.
And I only just watched episode 3, which only aired in Australia just today, and it is a very quick cameo, but I recognised the voice straight away. I was like, and it wasn't until the scene was done, I just went, hang on, that's Mary. And I don't know if you guys have obviously if you've been following our Twitter, you might have seen their reply to us where they mentioned there was another tenuous Indiana Jones reference that we could make. It does appear.
Breathe it in. Breathe it in.
I get you, man.
So we shall. That's coming up. So hold tight, America. You'll get there eventually.
We'll get there.
And speaking of podcast goals, if I'm never a voice actor on an episode of Bluey, that fall is cushioned somewhat by the fact that now I can say I have been on a podcast with Adult freaking Rafai. I couldn't believe that. I was
fan.
listening and
Big
everyone's
fan.
calling in. Excellent. My sister Erin, I'll shout her out. She is the most bonkers Hey Riddle Riddle fan. And I love the podcast. I love the guys. And Adol is a legend. And I just heard his voice come on a couple of voices after mine. And I raced into her room and just said, I'm on a podcast with Adol. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that.
Oh,
Man, I think I had that same reaction when he actually reached back and was like, yeah, I'll do that. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, man. I heard him shout out Bluey on an episode of Hey Riddle Riddle, and that was enough for me. And then this is just icing.
7 degrees of Bluey.
Yes, indeed.
Can I do Blitzkrieg questions?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. Boom.
Ooh.
All right, cool. What is a rock melon?
A cantaloupe. Did you have cantaloupe?
Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think rock melon's pretty much cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was in trampoline. I was like, what? How many times have you watched Jingle All the Way? Out of curiosity, because
Jingle All
there
the
was a
Way.
shout out for Jingle All the Way on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Not for a long time.
No, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Not for a long time. But I would have seen it a fair few times.
Okay, just making sure.
Just for Mike interrupt his Blitzkrieg, Mike does a Jingle All the Day, where for like the last, I think, 15-ish years,
It's been a while.
it's 24 hours straight Jingle
That is-
All the Way marathon.
I hit
Right.
play every single time.
You
That
know,
is a
20,
beautiful,
30 people in and out of his
beautiful
house
thing.
watching along. So when he,
Is
when
it
he heard you say
Turbo
Jingle All the
Man?
Day,
Is that the name of the
his
toy?
heart
Turbo
exploded
Man?
in
Turbo Man?
happiness.
That
Yeah.
is correct. I have a
Is it-
Turbo Man doll.
Nice.
Oh man,
You're welcome.
that's one you got to add to the collection,
Yeah,
Frank.
we'll put it in the room somewhere.
Yeah.
Can you guys floss?
I can't. Oh, well, I've never tried
That's
because
a no.
I've seen my niece Neve do it. And that's like watching Picasso paint and then trying to have a go at painting afterwards in front of him. Like, so no.
No flossing? Okay. Cool. That's all I got. Those
are your big ones?
My last, I think so. I appreciate you guys because this is my bin day and
You got to take your wheelie bin out.
What's
Wheelie
that?
bin.
You got to take your wheelie bin out.
Well, I had to, and before I started recording with you guys, I'm like, oh, dunk, I need to go bring out my bins. So
Good thing you got
Is
the
it
early
both
start,
bins
Jordan.
tonight?
What's
What's
that?
the moon
Is
doing?
it a half
there
moon
half
or
moon
a smiley
both
moon?
it's cloudy. We have snow here in Syracuse. I can't really tell you. I wish I could, but there's white grass.
We are
so-
jealous of your upcoming Christmas swims. That's for sure here in Syracuse.
Christmas swims.
Christmas swims. Yes, Christmas in the heat. I have a friend from San Francisco, and she had her first hot Christmas last year, and it was very eye-opening for her. Yeah. It's different. We still dress up as Santa, and we still have like snow decorations and stuff like that because of our British heritage, I guess. And so, there's still lots of that going on for no good reason.
But it's funny when you see Australian depictions of Santa. He's got the hat, he's got the big jacket, but then he's just wearing shorts and like flip flops, basically. And we just go, yeah, that's Aussie Santa. Like that makes sense.
It's on.
Chill Santa.
That's right.
Yeah. He needs to balance out the
love it.
heat that he's getting from that massive beard and coat and hat. I gotta
guys,
ask
but-
you
but
guys.
yes,
You guys born
yes.
and raised in Syracuse, or
General area, upstate
just
New
the
York.
general
for life.
area, upstate New York?
Yeah.
It's
Oh well, I did a little something. You can.
Ooh.
I just if you want to share the screen there, Frank,
Yeah, let's do this.
just in case.
Frank. What are you doing?
Wait for it.
This is I thought I'd lay a picture of Australia. This is to scale, I believe, because I don't think I zoomed out on Google Earth. I've matched up Brisbane with New York City. I wasn't 100% sure that you were from Syracuse. I didn't know where in New York
We're
State.
smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, cool. I was gonna line it up with that, but I lined Brisbane up on this map with it, and so
there's Brisbane there.
There's Brisbane there, and then Marty is in Sydney there. So that's if you were to lay them on top of each other.
Equates it.
If you were to lay them on top of each other there, Sydney would be just off the coast of North Carolina.
On the Outer Banks,
And
beautiful area.
Adelaide, where just to give you a
11-hour drive.
yeah,
pretty
and
much.
just to give you an idea of distances, Frank and I are in Adelaide there, and that would be relatively somewhere between Columbus, Mississippi, and Tuscaloosa. So there you go.
You swung and missed there. You went for
Man,
Alabama.
Tuscaloosa is an Alabama.
But climate-wise, I looked at a couple of longitudes and latitudes for you. Syracuse is sitting at about 43.0481 degrees north. And of course, the further north you guys get...
8-1?
Yeah.
That's very direct.
The further north you guys get, of course, the colder it would get. And if you kind of flip it around, just to give you an idea, like Syracuse would be about as far north of the equator as Hobart in Tasmania is right down the bottom. So yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's good because Tasmania is awesome, and they're about 20 years behind. And what's happening in the world in the last couple of years, I'll take it. What did I do? I looked at where Brisbane is, and Brisbane's 27 degrees south of the equator. So that equates to about the north of that is roughly Tampa. So Tampa, Florida is about as far north of the equator as Brisbane is south.
So we didn't prepare questions.
As much math as you do. Like,
we didn't prepare questions for you guys. We just prepared GPS coordinates.
Yeah. The further north in Queensland that you go. So Queensland's the big triangle pointy bit.
They just showed up with a notebook full of.
Yeah, no. I just, So Frank's quartered Queensland. You'll see that on their number, on the healer's number plate, and their juice bottles in their fridge. A little picture of Queensland, and so I've actually never been to Queensland.
Questions about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So many questions about the numbers.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
So that's why there's fruit bats and stuff, because Brisbane's about as tropical as Tampa would be, I assume. But mind you, my brother-in-law is like a geography and meteorological nut job, and he's incredible.
Your brother's a nut job.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna take all of this. He's gonna tear it apart, and he'll say, "Brendan, latitude is only part of the meteorological story.
Tisk.
So why are you making such claims?"
So there you go. This has been the Geography Podcast with Brendan.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of everything.
We've all bit of everything. We've learned a little something.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. This was.
Are you serious? Every time you thank us, I'm going to get really angry because How much fun! I've been looking forward to this ever since you mentioned it. This is super fun.
Very cool.
Oh, well, and then it's not going to be the first time then.
All right, we'll have to do this again. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
absolutely, boys.
I was just thinking after I saw you guys post that D&D chart with a chaotic, neutral, chaotic, evil, everything. We got to have like a D&D actual play healer podcast or something to do.
We need to
put those.
We need to make that
place.
game. We need to make it happen.
Hey, I'm on board. Never played D&D in my life, but I'll give anything a go.
You can be Snickers.
I can be. Well, if I knew that I could be Snickers in D&D, I would have played it like the first time I ever saw an episode. You've been holding out on
More
me.
to come. A future recording.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, loving it.
All right. This has been fun. Until the next time. Appreciate you guys.
You're going to say the phrase, aren't you?
Can we all?
Oh.
Can we
all do it?
Wait. Do you have to do...
Do it on 3?
Oh, which phrase? So until next week, catch us at your local Hammer Barn.
Aisle 300.
Left of the fake grass.
If you hit a flamingo,
you've gone too far.
Created and produced by Frank, Brendan and Marty. You can follow the Hammerbarn Project on facebook.com/HammerbarnProj, at HammerbarnProj on Twitter, or Hammerbarn_project on Instagram. Theme featuring Nibblings, Kaylee, Jade, Ashley and Reese, and PA announcements by brother-in-law, me, Josh. Thanks for listening, and remember to get down to Hammerbarn for cheap shovels.
nailed it in one.
It's gotta be done.
It's gotta be done.
It's gotta be done.